Okay, back again. Journeyman transfer special. Me and AU are going to be going through the biggest transfers of the window so far. Just giving our takes on it and how what we're feeling, man. Bro, do you want to kick it off?
All right, so what? Should we talk about who we think is like the best transfer so far? Or which teams had the best transfer season so far, we can say, actually. I think let's start off with the team anyway. So, in terms of me, I probably think the team that's probably done the best business, and it hates me to say it really, I think it's probably Liverpool. I think
Yeah.
obviously losing Trent was probably a big loss, and obviously, yeah, the whole situation with Jota is really unfortunate and everything. But I think in terms of what they've strengthened, I think they've pretty much hit the areas they need to strengthen, and they don't even really seem like they're really slowing down really with the whole acquisition of Isak, which they're trying to get. So it just looks like they've had a very good season last year, and it seems with all the other signings, with Wirtz, with Frimpong, with Gyökeres, it does seem like they've done quite a lot to even further try and improve themselves, really.
Definitely, man.
So
I agree, man.
I'll definitely say yeah, bro.
I'm excited to see how he blends that all together. Because yeah, they've got a good existing squad, and they've just added. And if you look at the profile of players they've added, it's exciting times, man. And once they get that Isak over the line, it's crazy, crazy. Because
Yeah,
Isak, Florian Wirtz, Gakpo, Salah, it's deadly, man. It's dangerous. Um, but I
yeah.
think yeah,
There's a
Liverpool have
lot of
done good
firepower that they're
business.
gonna have there. To be honest, there's
I feel
definitely
like
a lot of
City and
firepower.
Chelsea, they got off to an early start in the window, obviously being in the Club World Cup, but they've added some good signings as well. I mean, let's touch on Chelsea because at first when Bowley came in, it was looking like a joke, a bit of a mockery, but the model's working. They're bringing players in, selling them for a profit,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
constantly improving. I mean, I like Nicholas Jackson, but Pedro for me as a striker, as an attacker, as a forward, I feel like he's going to be an upgrade.
If they're willing to put him up front, then yeah, I think it probably is. Probably would take his place, I would say. But what I was thinking with them, it just seems like they seem to be buying like quite a lot of wingers. But I do agree. I think Bowley has done a great job in
Yeah.
what he's done at the moment because I think when he first came, it just seemed like, oh, this guy thinks it's like some American draft, just trying to draft as many wonder kids as possible and just try and get like build a team of just wonder kids and just throw them in like it's some type of draft scenario there. But it seems like in the end, they've yeah, like you said, even players that they've brought on that you would think that they wouldn't even be able to sell for profit, like Noni Madueke, they've somehow managed to sell him on a profit, which is crazy. So
And
they seem to be
I
doing
think
quite good business.
Arsenal played that all wrong, man. Because if you look at Noni Madueke, right, he played a lot of games for Chelsea, 100%. But I don't feel like he was going into the season as first choice. With Esteval
No,
coming in and the hype around Esteval, I don't think Esteval is one of these guys to come in and play Carling Cup games or you know what I mean. I think he's here to play. Like
yeah,
he's one of the most exciting talents out of Brazil since he was more built up than like Vinny and Rodrigo. So. Esteval
yeah,
coming in,
yeah.
they had an excess there, and it's like Pedro Neto. They've got a diversity of wingers, and Arsenal just kind of. I think they should have waited it out a little bit. I think Nodi Madueke would have potentially become available. Um,
I think with Arsenal, I think it just got to a stage where they just needed to sign a winger,
yeah,
and I think they kind of identified him and just thought, okay, we have identified. Did I? What did it freeze? That was all. Is all good? Okay. But yeah, that's what I think. I think they just kind of rushed into things. I think they were just thinking to themselves, okay, we need an attacker. He's somebody that kind of fits the profile, can play on both wings. So yeah, we can get him. He'll be a good squad player. But yeah, I think
but where
like you
they're
said, I think they could have waited. Probably could have got a better price because Chelsea are still desperate. They were desperate to sell it because they're even trying to even buy different wingers as well. So apparently they're even linked with Garnacho as well. So it doesn't even seem like they're even done in terms of just adding more forwards into their system anyway. So yeah, I think if they had waited,
Xavi
I think they could have
Simmons,
been better. Yeah,
Xavi
Xavi Simmons as
Simmons.
well is looking like something he's coming in as well. So
I
in the
mean, that's
midfield.
firepower, man. Xavi Simmons, Cole Palmer.
Mhm.
You know, Enzo plays a little bit further forward. They've got the balance, man. I feel like I've Chelsea. They're not dark horses for me, but I think that they could potentially finish second or third. I don't think they can win it,
Yeah.
but I think they might. They could be the best of the rest if that makes sense.
Yeah, it depends
Um,
because on that day you even saw it in the Club World Cup. Like they performed very well, especially against the PSG team, which everybody's saying is the best team in the world. They, in terms of obviously, it's a one-off game, random tournament that kind of just popped up recently. I don't know how seriously everybody was really taking, it, even though it did financially provide quite a lot for the clubs. But I think in that they showed glimpses of a team that, if everything does click for them, they can be a very competitive team, depending on who they, not even just depending on who they play, pretty much anybody that they play, they can match up quite well against. The only thing I would say about them is the striking situation. Yes, I do understand that João Pedro probably is going to come and play up front. I would say he's more of that type of attacking type of player, more than
yeah,
just an out and out striker. So I do think maybe if there is one thing that they probably would still need to strengthen on, would probably need to be like an out and out striker. But I don't really think they're even looking to go for an out and out striker with the way they're looking in the market. It seems like they just would prefer those type of attacking type players
yeah.
rather than somebody very quite specific.
Because they got the lap as well.
True, actually, they did buy the lap. I
They
even
got the
forgot
lap.
about that. Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, let's touch on City then because City done a lot of business early.
yeah,
I'm hearing they've still got right back in their
yeah.
in their
Livramento.
process. That's a top player. I love Livermore,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
He's a
I
good
think
player,
they might.
man.
I think they might get him. And yeah, like you said, I think he's actually a very good player. I was even yeah. So I think if they do manage to get that over the line, then that's a very good addition to them. Especially they do need another right back, so I think that would definitely be a good addition. I think with the business they've done, I think their business has been it's been sensible. They've kind of replenished what they
Tijjani
needed to replenish.
Reijnders.
Yeah, Reyners from AC Milan, like he's a good technical player in the midfield, can do multiple roles in the midfield as well. So I think that's a good addition. They've added some flair in Cherki as well, which I
Yeah,
do think they probably needed in terms of just more creativity and goals in their forward line because with Doku and Savinho and all these players they have, like you can tell they're talented players, but I think in terms of like their overall output, it does need to be at a higher level.
yeah,
And I think somebody like Cherky, if everything does pan out, I think he has the flair and the creativity, and also being able to shoot with both feet as well, play either wings or even in the center attacking midfield slot. It does seem like he will bring more dynamism if he does do the similar things to what he's been doing for Lyon over the last few years in France. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I think their business has been efficient. It's been good business, I'll say. I'll say it's been good business. I wouldn't say it's anything spectacular, but I think it's kept them in a good position to build on. And obviously, if they build on the signings that they already had before, like I said with Savinho and Doku, who I do think still need to kind of improve their end product and get on to the next level. If everything does click for them, then yeah, obviously with City, with Haaland up front, and just what else, everything else they do have there with Guardiola, I think if anybody can find a way to make that team work and find a style of play for them, it's definitely him as a manager.
yeah. I think if it clicks as well, it's gonna be good to watch, man. Because you got to think Cherki, Foden,
Hmm.
and then you know the options they got on in the wide areas with Doku, Savinho. It's exciting stuff. It's just, but if anyone's going to get it right, it will be Pep. But it'll be
Hmm.
interesting to see how much freedom he gives Cherky because I noticed
Yeah,
even just watching in the Club World Cup, Cherky he likes to drop and get on the ball and. Does Pep want him to do that? And
yeah,
let's see what sort of freedom he gives him because I mean, I even watched a little interview of Cherky. Cherky, from outside, not knowing much about him, I thought he was one of these, like, the North African French attitude. We've
yeah,
seen them guys, like, they just come in like Nasri and Ben
yeah,
Arfa. We've seen these guys and, like, they're just, like, the opposite of what you would think Pep looks for in a footballer. But
yeah,
he seems like he wants to go right to the top. I saw something where he said like he's got aims and ambitions of winning the Ballon d'Or, and that's exciting to hear a player with that ability to
yeah.
say, I want to challenge for the Ballon d'Or. I mean, going into that City team, if he can make the difference at the highest level, the way he plays, it's going to be like something spectacular.
Yeah, he
It's going to
definitely
be
has all
really
the
good to
ability.
see.
Yeah, he
So I
definitely
mean,
has
I'm
all the
I'm
ability.
actually I'm actually really excited to see Ryan Cherky. I think Tijjani Reijnders is a brilliant signing. He played against us a few years ago in the Europa Conference League for Alkmaar, and he just looked like a complete midfielder, basically.
Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah, he's a
You know,
complete midfielder.
gets on the half turn, very good vision, very good passing, can dribble, can break the lines. So he's another one. They brought back James Trafford. I mean, just quickly, let's touch on the business that they do via their academy, man. It's a fantastic model,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, to
know.
be honest, I think with one thing that's been understated with what the when the new ownership came in with the oil money that they did is they've revamped the whole academy. So they've actually got one of the best academies in the world now. So they've
Yeah,
produced quite a lot of Premier League players that are playing in the Premier League right now. Even your Sancho's, obviously, he didn't really pan out at United, but they've produced players like Sancho, Gittins, that's even at Dortmund. I believe he came through the City Academy, Romeo Lavia. There've been so many players that have come out of that academy, even players in their current team as well. Foden,
Palmer,
Palmer, like they've
McAtee,
yeah, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, they've created quite a lot of Premier League quality players, and
Rory Delap.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
so
they that I think is one of the most understated things that's happened during the whole reign that the UAE when they went in there and bought out the club, and they've actually done because they've revamped their academy and they probably have one of the best academies in the world now, and they're producing footballers that are on a high technical level as well. So
yeah.
they're even producing footballers that are kind of fitting within their whole club philosophy, which again, I don't think a lot of people touching it. They always touch about the money that they spend and they spend on big players and they start buying up these big players. But their academy is working very well for them at the moment. Them and even
They've
Chelsea's academy is even pretty good as well, still, even with all
they've
of that.
they've created a sustainable model, man. Like, exactly like you said about everyone talks about the money that they spend, but let's look at the money that they generate. I mean, they bought Julian Alvarez for what was it, £17 million. A year later,
Mhm.
a Champions League win later, sold him to Atletico for I don't know what the exact figure was, but 80 to 90 million. So and that's one thing about Pep as well. He he will let you go. If you want to go, you can go. And
Yeah,
a manager that kind of can keep bringing players in, getting the best out of them, moving them on at the right time, and
yeah,
bringing new players in. It's quite a good model.
yeah,
Just last one on City. I just want to bring up this player, man, who's in kind of no man's zone. He hasn't moved yet, but Raheem Sterling. I saw because Son's leaving Tottenham now. We'll touch on
hmm
Tottenham as well because Tottenham
yeah.
burned me big time. You get me? Yeah. I mean yourself, star boy
Oh,
Mohammed Kudus to the rivals for 55 M's. Come on, man. West Ham, we got to do better, bro. We got to do better, man.
oh
Come on, we
my
got to do better than
god.
that, man. But yeah, flipping. What I forgot what I lost my trail of thought there. But yeah,
You
Mohammed
talk about
Kudus
Raheem
to.
Sterling.
Oh yeah, Raheem Sterling. Yeah. So since 2015, only four players have more goals and assists than him.
Yeah,
Since 2015, that's 10 years. So in the last 10 years, he's top five productive players in the Premier League, man. Put some respect on Raheem
yeah.
Sterling's name, people.
Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sterling when he was at his peak, especially under Guardiola, like he was doing quite a lot of like he was producing quite a lot. And the good thing about him as well, it wasn't even anything that he was just dribbling past like 10 players. It was his movement and just his understanding of the game to always be in the right position. Like he had very good anticipation, and I think that move away from C, and I think going into the chaos of Chelsea kind of just put him off rhythm, I would say, because I think with C, it was very clear role that he had defined. I think at Chelsea, he went there at quite a bad time because there was a lot of upheaval. Went to Arsenal, and then I don't even think anybody even realized that he was even
Where
there
do
last
where do
season.
where do you think he goes?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you where that guy goes.
That's
I don't
sad,
know
man.
who's going to really
Raheem.
want him. I think at this stage, it's probably going to be another loan, and I think it's
Yeah,
probably going to be probably a mid-tier Premier League team,
yeah.
something like that. That he's probably going to go on loan to, maybe a team. I don't know. I'm just
Our
even saying
friend
maybe
David
Villa.
Moyes. David
Yeah,
Moyes.
maybe if David Moyes like Everton, maybe even like a Villa. They've tried to revive Rashford. Maybe they might think Raheem Sterling. Maybe you can get him in. But yeah, probably somewhere like Everton or something like that. I don't even know. Because I think, especially after that loan move to Arsenal, I think his stock has dropped a lot. Like, I think when he
Yeah.
first was leaving Chelsea, I think they thought, okay, maybe Chelsea is a lot of chaos there. Maybe if he goes, he can settle, put his feet down, settle down, and actually have a good and productive season. But then now he's coming off not just the bad spell at Chelsea, but then now another unsuccessful loan spell at Arsenal. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really know where he goes from here. It's probably, yeah, like I said, mid-table. Maybe go like a
We're,
Fulham or something.
we're 2 weeks away from the Premier League season as well. He hasn't had a
Yeah.
pre-season, so it's not going to be easy for him to go to a Premier League club. And you know, I feel like back in the day, like one of these like Italian resting giants like Juve or something would have picked him up, but it seems like that market's dead for a lot of players.
Juve seems to be going for Sancho, to be honest. So they seem like they're picking up Jaden Sancho, and I don't think they're going to pick up him and Sterling. I think they
He
one
would
person that they're trying to give a chance. I think that's more than enough. I
he'd
don't
do
think they're
well
going to
in
try and
Italy
change
though.
anything.
He would do well in Italy.
What,
I
Sancho
think no,
or Sterling?
Sterling. Sancho. Listen, Sancho needs to play in like charity games and like like he needs to do influencer footballer. You know what I mean? He should be playing in that five-a-side league on Sky with Trunks and them
Yeah,
man.
what's that league
Sancho
called
would
again?
be
Who?
Sancho would be the streets won't forget him that at that level, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
I rate Sancho. I think he's a good player, but I don't think the mindset's there to be at the high level, man. Guys are
This is
there's
what
other
this
guys
is what I
here.
said. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I was saying. I think his main issue is his mindset. He just seems like one of those players that, again, he has all the ability to be able to affect the game in positive ways, and the technique and the vision, the dribbling. Like, he has all the attributes there. But even as well, even before we even signed him, there was even murmurs out of Dortmund that his attitude and just what his main priorities were when he was at Dortmund were kind of away from football. Like, they were saying that he would stay in training, he'll be quite lax. He'll be playing a lot of video games, things like that. But then I
But
think when you're at a team like Dortmund,
yeah.
you're doing these type of things, I think there's less spotlight on you. So then it kind of goes under the radar, especially if you're playing well. It's not really going to be highlighted that much. But then when you come to a team like United, which I would say in terms of media presence, I would say there's no club you could probably be at more under a microscope, especially right now that the team isn't doing well, than a team like United, because every little thing that you do is going to get
Is
10
yeah.
times the amount of attention that it would get anywhere else. Even other big teams in England, like there's, for example, we always compare even though there's probably other connotations around the different treatment, but somebody like Grealish, and then you compare somebody to at United like a Sancho or a Rashford. People at United, when it comes to Rashford and Sancho, they got completely destroyed for any little thing that they did, and it got magnified. It was all over the newspapers, everything like that. But then Grealish, he'll go at Ibiza, get drunk, stumble around, collapse on the streets, and you barely hear a peep out of that, and it just gets brushed under the table, really. So I think even with the bigger teams in the UK, I think when it does come to when you're playing for a team like United, especially in an unsuccessful period, I think everything you do gets magnified quite a lot, and you have to have a special type of character to be able to carry that type of pressure and media scrutiny and still be able to perform at the highest level and be
Yes,
able
for
to,
sure.
yeah, so it's a lot of work. So him, and even he went to Chelsea again, there was even less pressure on him there though, and he was still not up to the standard that he should have been at. So I don't know. Maybe Ailey will be good for him. Who knows?
What about should we touch on Arsenal then? What do you think about Arsenal's business?
Their business, I would have said it was terrible. Well, not terrible. I would have said it was bad. Other than since they've signed Gyökeres, I think Gyökeres, if he profiles how he should profile, or not, or I shouldn't say should profile, I should say how he could potentially profile because of all the goals he scores. If he's able to translate that into the Premier League, then that was one of the big things that they were missing last season. Because yes, they had people like Gabriel Jesus, that's their striker, who I think is a good player. I think he's a good player, but I think he's one of
You
those
know I'm a
players
big
that I
fan.
don't think
You
he's.
know I'm a fan of Jesus. I like
Yeah,
Jesus, man.
I
When
don't
he's
I don't
fit,
think
man,
he.
I like him, man.
But I don't
Yeah.
I don't think he's ruthless enough. Like, he's one of those players that, yes, in terms of on a footballing scale, he'll do everything in the right way. But I think at a certain level, and when you have a striker in the team, you want them to be ruthless. And you
His
want
mo-
them
his momentum got messed up, man. His momentum got messed up, and I don't know, like it's too many big injuries back to back. So, like, listen. mate, get on the phone, come down to West Ham. We'll love you at West Ham. You know, we'll love you down here. You know what I mean? That's your next move, Gabriel Jesus. But I think Zubimendi is going to be a class addition. Like I've heard rumors
I
that
think he'll
he's
be
not going
good.
to suit Prem, but I think he's going to be a good addition, man. I think the balance of that midfield of Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. I think we can. It's not going to be enough to get them over the line in terms of winning the league, but I think Zubimendi was a good move. Not too
Yeah.
sure about the Christian Norgard thing. I get it. I understand it in terms of he's coming in to replace Jorginho, essentially. Going to be a good squad player, but I don't think he's that level, man. At 31 years old, Christian Norgard, it's a miss.
Yeah.
It's a miss from
Yeah.
me. Um,
Yeah, like you said, I think they just pretty much did that because they just needed to fill out a squad place. They knew they were losing Party, which obviously Party, in terms of as a player, is a very good player, especially for the system they play because he can do the defensive work. He's very good on the ball. So he did quite a lot for them in that type of in that deep lying midfield role, which I think which gave the opportunity to even move somebody like a Declan Rice a bit further forward. So I think with Zubi coming in, I think in terms of on the ball and his distribution and things like that, I think that would improve because I think he is going to be slightly better on the ball in terms of his distribution and just his being able to dictate the play from a bit deeper. Obviously, he's been in a different league. I think with the Premier League, I think one thing that with a lot of new signings, especially midfielders that come in and play that role, I think the main thing that they usually struggle with, especially initially, is just the pace of the game in the Premier League because everything moves quite fast and quite up and down and up tempo, whereas the Spanish league is a bit more tactical, a bit more methodical in just the way they approach things. So as long as he's able to get to grips with the pace of things, I think that could be a good signing. I think defensively they do lose a bit than what a bit from what Party would have given them, but I think he's a decent signing. I think he would be pretty decent. But then I think the main thing that he needed to address was the striker position. So and I think if Gyökeres pans out how he could pan out, gets them 20, 30 goals, and I think that's a massive improvement on what they do have. And
yeah,
like you said, I do actually like Jesus. I think he's actually a very good player. The only thing I would say about him, two main things: fitness and just not ruthless enough. If you, that's even why I think Guardiola was so happy. Well, not so happy, but he was happy to move him on and get
yeah,
somebody like a Haaland, where you see Haaland when it comes to finishing chances or trying to get goals, he's ruthless in front of goal.
yeah,
So
yeah, 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 definitely.
I think Arsenal need a player that it has that same type of mentality up front to be able to at least try and compete with the top teams, especially with these other teams getting a lot better.
Newcastle are having a mare, aren't they? Alanga,
You-
I love Alanga as a player, man. But 55 M's is steep.
Yeah, that is steep. And that's the thing, they're talking about when like a lot of people are saying, oh, Cunha is overpriced or Mbeumo, you're paying 65, 70 million for Mbeumo. These man just bought Elanga for like 55 million, who scored like 6 Premier League goals, who I actually think is a good player. Like even when he was at United, I thought he was quite good. Decent young prospects, but I think 55 million, I don't think he should have been anywhere over 30 million in terms
Nah,
of the type of thing, in
yeah,
terms of what you'd provide. And even 30 million would be like, okay, like could be hit and miss, but 55 million, I'm not really sure about that. And the Newcastle fans, it just seems like I think they're in a state where they thought with all of this Saudi money, they are just going to be like the way you kind of see just steamrolled and started becoming like a top team and just getting all the best players. But with all this financial fair play and everything like that, it's not they're not able to do it in the same type of way. And I think with the fact that's another team that's a bigger team than them, Liverpool's coming in for one of them players, it seems like a lot of
it's
them are just
killed them.
having a meltdown now because
Yeah,
they're just thinking to themselves, we're not able to sign anybody. We're now losing like one of our best players. We're probably not going to be able to replace him with anywhere near the same type of quality. So it just seems like they're all having a breakdown right now. Started saying
yeah.
that the media outlets are colluding with Liverpool to try and get Isak, to try and get Isak
Oh yeah,
to Liverpool.
that
It's just oh like come on, like it's if they just took a step back, they'll realize every single transfer in history, whether it goes for your club or against your club, it kind of goes in the same way. The media train gets onto it.
yeah.
They try and promote
I
it
mean,
because it's clicks for them, it's money for them. It's not a conspiracy.
I feel bad for Newcastle because like I've said it a couple of times. I think I said it on one of the pods we did, but last season, not over a whole season, but individual games, they were one of the best teams that I've seen. Like when they were
Yeah,
on, they were on. And like you
yeah.
think if they kept Isak, Anthony Gordon on one side, Isak through the middle, Alanga on the other side, and then you've got that midfield of Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, and Joe Linton. Bad man. Yeah, real
Mhm.
general in the midfield. Uh, yeah, I like that team. And Joe, is it Joe or Chris Willock? Joe, one of the Willocks.
Joe Willock.
He's good,
Yeah, Joe
man.
Willock.
He's good.
Yeah,
He's good.
he's a good
Again,
player.
another one. West Ham, get on the phone, bro. Get on the phone. Willock, come on.
Ap-
I want to see this.
Apparently, from what I'm hearing about Newcastle, so I think they apparently have two options. So it's either going to be they're going to try and get Sesko, obviously United, and them are in for Sesko. If that doesn't pan out, I think their second choice is actually Ollie Watkins, which I think would
What?
probably be a decent signing for Isak. I think they play different games, but I think in terms
He
of
will
at
suit
least the scoring
Newcastle.
output,
He will suit
I think the
Newcastle.
scoring output it would be quite similar in terms of the scoring output at least. In
Yeah.
terms of just the overall game that Isak will bring, like the way he can drift past players and things like that, I think you're going to miss that. But then I think in terms of at least goals output, I think Ollie Watkins would probably be a decent replacement for him. But yeah, I think those
Definitely.
are the two players that they're in for: Sesko and what's it called? Yeah, Sesko and Ollie Watkins. So see how that goes for
I think
them. But yeah, they're having a meltdown right now. Like you just
I
see
think
all
if
of,
you
like
put
their fans are crying on Talk Sport. I saw a video of that True Geordie saying that the media's colluding against them. And it's just like, yeah,
I mean
they don't know what to do with themselves.
with this, right? So I looked at it like this today, right? I said, look, if you lose Isak for 130 million, right? It's not ideal, but if you replace that with Sesko for 70 M's and you get Jovan Wissa, our Congolese brother over there, I think, Wissa and Sesko replacing Isak, that's a good move in the business. I mean, these clubs, they need to get on the phone to the journeyman because, like, you know what I mean? I built some solid teams down the years on FM, and I think I can do a job, man. Director of football, Mark Noble. Yeah, mate. We'll get Jesus through the door, Joe Willock. I think we'll just end it on this, right? Because we're coming up to like nearly the 30-minute mark. But Mohammed Kudus, man. Why, bro? Tottenham of all teams, Tottenham. And
Yeah, I
then
can't lie. You kind of snaked you man there. Like he was you man's hero, and then he goes to Tottenham. Like he didn't even go to like you'd understand it more if he went to like a team like a City or even a Liverpool or something like that. You'd be like, all right, he's going somewhere else. But my guy stayed in London. He's like, I don't want to move out of London. Spurs
bro,
come. He's like,
man
what, you
said
playing Champions League? All right,
man
mate.
said
I'll jump on that. I'll play
they were
Champions
doing
League football with you, man.
they were doing the medical checks, and he said you'll find Tottenham in my heart. It burnt me, bro. I was like, the star boy.
Well, you said you'll
But
find Tottenham in his heart. That's
yeah,
disgusting, man.
yeah, yeah. It was corny. It was corny. It was corny. But
That was disgusting.
Tottenham
Tottenham,
are
who has
Tottenham
Tottenham
are a
in their
good team
heart?
on paper, man. But they're just like Spursy in it.
Tottenham are
So let's
Tottenham,
see.
Tottenham are just. Do you know what it is? Basically. Um, I think what Mourinho said about football heritage is kind of true because I think certain teams they just have a certain thing about them that unless that whole mentality changes, they're always going to be pretty much the same thing. And I think Tottenham, with the ownership and everything, they're just happy to be chugging along. Hopefully, maybe get some European
Yeah,
Champions League football.
they're gonna live off.
And
They're gonna live off that
yeah,
European trophy for the next X
exactly.
amount of
Now they've won
years.
a trophy, so then they're going to be like, okay, like we've actually brought a European trophy to our fans now. But they're a team that just seems to lack complete ambition to be better. It just seems like they're at where they're at, and as long as they're in and around that top six, maybe getting Champions League football here and there. Odd cop after like 15 years or so, then they're pretty much happy with that, and yeah, I feel
The
sorry for
player
their
that I
fans
like,
because
the player that I like there is Lucas Bergvall. Boy, he's a baller.
yeah,
The
he's a
boy
good
can
player.
play. That boy
Yeah,
can play.
he's a good player. Yeah, they got some good players. I even
Yeah.
like Kulusevski as well. Even when they bought him for Juventus, I was like, okay, that's quite a good signing. Son, I've heard is apparently leaving as well. So he said his goodbyes. I think he's going to America. So yeah, losing a
Yeah.
big player there, which Son's been one of the most consistent players in the Premier League for quite a number of years. So he's been a very good signing for them, and it's good that he's at least got to leave with a trophy in his belt. So very few
Definitely.
Spurs people can say that they left there with a trophy. So
Yeah. I think we'll wrap it up there. But yeah, thank you for joining us again. We'll probably jump on tomorrow or something and do. We'll cover some European transfers because I think there's been some stuff going on. Real Madrid have been doing some bits. PSG are about to announce Zabanye from Bournemouth.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
yeah, we'll jump on. We'll do a continental transfer talk.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, bro. Come on, you Irons.
All right, peace, people.
Peace, peace, peace.